The mistletoe margarita, the Scrooge driver, the North Pole punch. The holidays call for cocktails, so get everything you'll need for them delivered with Drizzly, the go-to app for drink delivery. So
what's it gonna be?
Classics like Bullet Bourbon, Don Julio Reposado, or Kettle One, or maybe something new. Find it all on Drizzly, where you can get beer, wine, and spirits delivered for any holiday festivity. Download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com today. Must be 21 plus, not available in all locations.
All right, man, WFUQU 307 on the man's clock here in the man's studio, FUQU. I hate to interrupt that incredible 75-minute Fire on the Mountain by Grateful Dead 1973. We were just getting in the second half of the third part of the song. I hate that, but I got a message from our station owner and manager, Jim Drangle. He's listening to the show, man. He loves it. He loves the Dead. He's outside of the studio with a small crowd, not entirely sure what's going on, but he's got a message for us. He'd like to go live. All right, Jim, plugging it down to you, brother. Take it away.
How many of you people know you're alive? How many of you people know you're really alive?
All right, Jim, indeed. If that doesn't make you see trails, I don't know what will. All right, FUQU, we'll be back after this commercial break. Commercial break. Commercial break. Commercial break. Commercial break.
On this episode of The Commercial Break.
And third of all, I thought it was timely because there's a lot of talk about the podcast universe going on as we speak, mostly about the commercial break. But then there's this other smaller podcast. But there's this other smaller podcast that people may not be familiar with, but, you know, we'll give them a little shout out here. It's the Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah. No one's heard of that.
No, he just does it out of his basement.
Yeah.
He has Elon Musk on, but we talk about black market farts. What is that? You never had a barbecue sauce by Kraft?
No.
You haven't had Kraft's barbecue sauce?
No, I go Fox Brothers all the way.
You go Fox Brothers? It's Kansas City Kraft barbecue. Maybe is it Kraft? I don't know, but it's like ketchup, basically with sugar and some spices in it.
I'm not a big ketchup fan to begin
delicious. You're not a ketchup fan?
At all.
You don't like ketchup at all?
No, I mean, it's okay. I don't put it on anything, though.
How do I not know this about you? Who's going to replace Vanna? Who's going to replace Pat, the mean bastard that he is?
They can be replaced.
They can't. No one's quite an asshole like Pat is. No one comes across as more condescending than Pat Sajak. You got to find a real condescending asshole. Pat Sajak. I think you might as well get Steve Bannon to replace Pat Sajak. I mean, it's like Pat Sajak is an asshole. Do you not get that sense?
Yeah.
I've never liked that guy.
Yeah.
I've never liked that.
The next episode of The Commercial Break starts now.
It's another episode of The Commercial Break. I'd like to do that. Just get myself pumped up for the show.
That's right.
I'm so excited. It's another episode of The Commercial Break. I'm Bryan Green. This is Kristen Hoadley. Best to you.
Best to you, Bryan.
Best to you out there in the podcast universe. Thanks for joining us on this episode of The Commercial Break, the only commercial break you ever need. And remember, when you're leaving those podcast reviews, The Commercial Break, just checking in with you. But apparently it's working because lots of people are leaving reviews, and they're all seem to be very wonderful.
Yeah,
we don't seem to have too many.
That.
We have a thing peppered in here or there, and it depends on which podcast publisher you go to, because there are lots of podcast publishers like Castbox and Podbean and Overcast and all this, and we certainly have our detractors. We're not everybody's cup of tea, so to speak. We don't float everybody's boat.
We appreciate all of the feedback.
Sure, yeah, why not? I mean, go fuck yourself if you don't like the show, but I get it. It's not for everybody, and that's to be said. But I wake up on Saturday, and as I do, religiously checking our statistics
Yes, you do.
and our charts, because that's what we got to hang on to here at the podcast. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do.
I'm sure that, I don't even know who's on television anymore. But Jimmy Kimmel, I'm sure that it's important to him to check the ratings from the night before.
Yeah, see how he's doing.
Yeah, see how he's doing. See if people are tuning in. See if it was interesting or it's not interesting. And for us, the Apple Podcast charts and Chartable charts are really the only thing, and Spotify charts, but are really the only things that we have to go by.
Yeah.
And so the Chartable charts are an overall view of the podcast universe, right? It's agnostic. It's not about one specific publisher. It's about all of them together. We've always been doing pretty well on the Chartable charts, I think.
Yes.
But the Apple Podcast charts are a little bit different because Apple has the lion's share of the podcast listening market.
I can see that. That's where I listen to mine.
Yeah, and they started podcasts.
And CastBox.
Yeah, and CastBox. CastBox is lovely to us. Yes, we have a large CastBox audience for a lot of different reasons. We do a lot of work with them. But discoverability has always been an issue. Getting your podcast discovered is a hard thing to do, which is why there are tens of thousands of podcasts, and you probably only know about a few of them or listen to a few of them because it's an overwhelming deluge.
Yeah, there's
of
a ton.
Tens of thousands of active shows. But since Apple has the lion's share of the market, it's their kind of the earmark. Like, are you doing well on the Apple charts, so to speak?
Right, and we weren't for a long time.
Well, we'd show up here or there. We'd like pop on at number 1. And we're in the improv comedy. That's our category, is improv comedy.
Yeah.
And we'd pop on at number 1. They only track the top 250. 101, or we'd be at 157, and then for a couple of months there, we were in the 50s or 60s, which was really nice. And I couldn't figure why it was ebbing and flowing. And Apple has this complicated way of doing their mathematics. It's
As they
algorithm.
do.
As they do, right? And it's a big fucking secret. For what reason, I don't know. Share with us. Tell us what they didn't want us to game the system. And it's really hard to game the Apple system. So on Saturday, I wake up, and we are number 17 on the Apple Improv Comedy charts. Thank you out there to all of you listeners who are listening and leaving reviews, because I guess that's what they base it on. I don't know who at Apple is fired, like we were talking about last week, but this is clearly
There's
a
a
mistake.
lever that's broken somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're just flowing through like a fire hydrant now.
There are so many great comedy podcasts in this top 20, all of which they're extremely talented podcasters. Basement Yard and Obituary and From the Magic Tavern, and I mean I could go on and on. Spitballers Comedy, they're all great. I've listened to all of them, and they're wonderful. And clearly, we're the better podcast, getting the recognition that we so rightfully deserve.
Our litter box talk is.
Our litter box talk is.
Like
people can't get enough of it.
Farts and litter box.
Just a tasty tea and penis. I mean, that's the kind of podcast that's wholesome for the whole family. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I can understand why we're flying up those shows.
You should just put it on your Sonos and bust it through the whole house.
You know, that's what Matthias does. I keep thinking that this must be a joke. Like there's somebody out there, like there's some Reddit chart somewhere that's like, what's the worst improv comedy podcast out there? The Commercial Break. And there's a link to Apple, and they keep listening because we're not funny.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine how we've gotten in this upper echelon of improv comedy podcasts. But thank you very much. I'll take it. And, Apple's just one of those things when you're on their charts. For us as podcasters, it's a level of, you feel good about yourself.
Yes, exactly.
You feel like your balls
Validation.
are big, 10 feet tall.
Validation.
Tits up.
Tits up, ass out.
Ass out. You're going to the show. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
We're best in show. Well, we're almost best in show. We only have about a couple more million listeners that we need, and we'll be number 1. You're Miss Congeniality. I'm Mr. fucking moron. As we've been told by a couple of our podcast reviews too. And the reason why I wanted to get into the podcast universe, first of all, I like to share with people what's going on in the overall view, because you are the listener are a part of the success of the show, and we want you to know, first of all, we're grateful. Second of all, it's exciting, and I figure we pull back the curtain and let people know what's going on.
Yeah.
And third of all, I thought it was timely because there's a lot of talk about the podcast universe going on as we speak, mostly about the Commercial Break. But then there's this other smaller podcast. But there's this other smaller podcast that people may not be familiar with, but, we'll give them a little shout out here. It's the Joe Rogan Experience. Yeah.
No one's heard of that.
No, he just does it out of his basement.
Yeah.
He has Elon Musk on, but we talk about black market farts. Just a tasty teener. That's all you need. You have to have your head directly sewn in your asshole right now, not to have heard about Joe Rogan.
Yes.
The Joe Rogan controversy on Spotify. Joe Rogan has been controversial since Spotify signed him.
True.
There's nothing new under the sun. People have disliked this decision from the beginning, and Spotify has made a smart business move by bringing Joe over. I've already argued this on the podcast that Joe could have made a lot more money not on Spotify, but he may not want to deal with it. He doesn't want to deal with ad sales and all this other stuff. So for those of you who don't know, if you happen to not know, Neil Young and a couple of other artists, Joni Mitchell,
yeah.
Niles Lofgren, the guitarist for Bruce Springsteen.
Okay.
And I think a musician in his own right. What he's done, I don't know. He's mainly to me, he's the guitarist for Bruce Springsteen. They decide to pull. They are so upset at some of what they are describing as misinformation.
Yeah.
That they
about COVID
that they gave Spotify an ultimatum. They said, hey, listen, if you don't, it's either Rogan or it's me, is what Neil said. Neil was the first one.
Yes.
It's Rogan or me. You can't have both. And so if you don't pull Rogan off the air, I'm going to pull my catalog out.
Yep.
Right?
And then he did.
Mm-hmm. Now, I think we can have a lively debate here without ruffling a lot of feathers, right? Because we're not a political commentating podcast, and I think that's probably why we're up on the charts. Because if we were doing any
don't talk anything meaningful.
No, we don't. Yeah, and I think people. I don't know. Well,
that's the reason for the name, the
commercial break. That's right.
Yeah,
and quite frankly, it makes me feel good to spend 2 or 3 hours a week not having to think about any of that stuff or
me too.
The deluge that comes from turning on any television news station or radio station or anything like that. But I feel because this is in our arena, because we are now podcast experts on the top of the charts, just blazing across the podcast universe as a bright star. Yes. And because we will soon get a similar contract from Spotify, I figured it was important to know the ground rules.
Yes.
Don't you feel?
I agree.
So Neil says, it's you or it's me. He pulls his music because obviously it's not Neil. Neil's not even the most. Mike Pesca, who has The Gist, the podcast, The Gist, great podcast. Go check it out. Very centrist, non-extreme, listens to all sides of a point of view before making a decision.
That.
Yeah. Mike's a good guy. I know him personally. He pointed out that Neil Young is not even the most popular Neil on Spotify, right? I mean, there's Neil Diamond, and he's not, nor is he the most popular Young on Spotify, Young MC and all these other guys. So he doesn't have the kind of weight to demand that Spotify pull Joe Rogan. Like if it's a business decision, it's Joe Rogan all day long.
Yeah.
And by the way, Neil has all the right in the world to take his music wherever he wants to.
Yeah, I think he's taking a stand.
Sure. But
I applaud that.
I do.
Mean, yeah.
Listen, you can speak with your feet or speak with your pocketbook or speak with your farts like Bryan does. You can sell them wherever you want to.
Yeah.
I, like, friend to friend, and we haven't spoken a lot about this, but friend to friend, I feel like Joe is an entertainer. He's not a medical scientist. He's not a doctor. We shouldn't be taking our advice, our COVID advice from Joe Rogan. That'd be like taking our I don't know. That'd be like getting
advice from our podcast
advice from Carrot Top or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, you shouldn't do that because that's not who Joe is. And Joe will tell you he's an idiot. He doesn't know anything. Please don't listen to me right off the bat. I don't agree with some of the things that are being talked about on his show. And for a long time, I haven't. But I still believe that there needs to be a place for this kind of discourse, that if we shut down alternative ideas, then we put ourselves in a dangerous position of having someone with an opinion always censor somebody else who has another opinion.
That's true. Yeah.
And so I feel like it's a dangerous place for us to go. Now, Neil has the right to do whatever he wants to do. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying Neil doesn't have the right to speak. Of course he does. That's good and good for you. And to some degree, I may agree with the sentiment. But what I'm getting nervous about with the quote unquote cancel culture is that it always comes, it's a full circle. It's going to come back and bite everybody in the ass.
Yeah.
Because if we're allowing 1 or 2 or 7 loud voices to determine what happens and how we form our discourse, then we're going to start being a country that is really afraid to talk about anything for any reason.
That's true. I agree.
And I like the thought I stand by the thought that an idea that's too dangerous to talk about is dangerous in and of itself. Like just because you don't agree with someone's ideas doesn't mean that they should never be able to make $1 again, or they should never be able to speak in public again, or they shouldn't be able to, be on this platform or be on that platform.
Yeah, I mean, it's a spectrum, in my opinion.
I agree.
There's some people that are just so extreme and saying things that are blatantly false that other people are listening to and taking it as the truth.
Yeah.
So that's dangerous too. But yes, I agree with what you're saying, that there shouldn't be so much censorship about anything, where you're nervous to talk about anything.
I feel like we've all gotten so sensitive to our own viewpoints, and we're all so encased in our opinions that it's like, what's happening? Are you literally getting hurt by somebody else's opinion? Are you literally getting that upset that your world's imploding because someone else had a different opinion? I don't know what these doctors said on Joe Rogan Experience. I have no idea, and I'm not defending it, but it's just someone else's opinion, and they are medical doctors, so they're just sharing their opinion, and Joe is allowing that to happen on his show. What makes me concerned is that,
Well, I think he put out something today too that said what he would like to do is have more, different opinions from one expert feeling one way, another expert feels another way.
Good for Joe.
And having more of a varied, balanced sides.
Like a well-rounded conversation rather than always having these, doctors. And Joe, in his statement today, points out that 8 months ago, if you told somebody that a cloth mask was dangerous to your health, it's possible that you could have gotten blocked on social media. But today it's accepted that cloth masks don't work, right? If you would have said 8 months ago, you can take the vaccine, but it may not prevent you from getting COVID. It's just going to prevent you from getting really sick from COVID. Yep. That was not an idea that was accepted, that you were considered anti-vax, but things evolve. Like, conversations happen. Scientific communities evolve their opinions based on research. And so and the reason why that happens is because there's discourse that goes on inside of those communities. They agree, they disagree, they debate, they go back and forth, they look at the numbers, they say it.
Yeah, and new things are coming out every day about how this works.
And so I don't want to be a bummer, because I know this show is usually like goofy and ridiculous, quite frankly, and no one's coming to me for their opinion. But I just thought because it's in our space, I just wanted to share a little bit my personal thoughts on this, because everybody's been waiting for my personal thoughts on this.
Bated breath.
Everyone's going to wonder what Brian's going to say about the Rogan controversy. I say that Neil has a right to do whatever he wants to do, and Joe Rogan is encouraging discourse and debate about differing ideas, and that, while I may not agree with all of it, I don't want to see Joe get fired over it. No, I think it's kind of ridiculous. And Joe said, listen, I don't have any problem with a content advisory. Like, we may share ideas that are not the mainstream medical belief. I don't have any, and I think he's doing the right thing by being contrite and saying, hey, listen, I'm willing to make sure that all ideas get out there and that they're all represented well. And I'm okay with putting a content advisory so people understand this may not be accepted medical practice, which I think makes sense inside of a pandemic. Now, I'm not talking, and I think that we can get into these like fine lines of everything. But then, like, if you're calling for some person because of their race, color, creed, skin, who they love to be murdered, that's like, that's a different animal altogether, right? But that's not what's going on here. That's not what Joe is doing. So I think Joe did the right thing by putting out a statement. Spotify says they have some longstanding policy that just magically appeared yesterday about the content advisory for COVID-19. I'll be interested to see if they put a content advisory on this episode, because we've been talking about this. And just to let you know, Krissy and I are also pulling our full catalog off of Spotify. It's either us or it's Joe Spotify. You make the call. You have a hard decision in front of you. I can just see the board of directors listening to our episodes. Well, it's either Rogan with his 11 million listeners an episode, or it's Black Market Farts. Call Brian. Let him know he's on. We've made our decision. We've picked our pony and we're going to ride it.
Thank you, Spotify.
We're going for the DD Cantor all the way.
DD Cantor.
Live from your shitty little studio in north of Atlanta. Your 42 listeners on Spotify have spoken loudly. Wait. Got you covered. I was talking to a friend about this over the weekend, and I was like, "What if we'll pull our catalog from like Google or something, and we'll put out a press release about it and see if we get any traction."
Should.
Yeah. And I also wanted to. I thought it was. No, never mind. I thought it was interesting, and I thought I would point out that Neil, who I'm a huge fan of, by the way, love his music, huge fan of Neil Young's music, has not always had the most mainstream of ideas either. So I mean, it's they're cut from the same cloth with a different stitch, if you know what I'm saying. So I just thought I'd share that.
Thank you.
So we'll figure out later if I cut that part out of it.
You had to get it off your chest.
Hey you, Mr. and Mrs. Podcast listener, we're going to take a short break to let you know a few things. TCBpodcast.com is where you can go to find out more information about Krissy and I. If you choose, you can watch all the video there or listen to any of the audio. Our entire catalog is there at TCBpodcast.com. You can also drop us a line if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or content ideas. You can send it through the website or you can text us 661-237-8296. That's 661, the word best, the number 2, and the word yo. If you'd like to take a look at us while we're doing this silly program, you can go to youtube.com/thecommercialbreak. We have brand new clips of these episodes every single day of the week, and we do YouTube exclusive content called TCB in the Studio every couple of days. youtube.com/thecommercialbreak. Subscribe if you don't mind. At The Commercial Break on Instagram if you'd like to follow us there. A lot of people have written us over the last couple of months and asked, how can we support the show? How can we help it grow? You can tell your friends and family if you think they might be interested, if you're not embarrassed to tell them you listen to The Commercial Break. Or you can leave us a review and or a comment on your favorite podcast publisher. That's the way that we grow the audience, and we certainly would appreciate any help you could give us. We really are grateful that you take the time to listen to our program every couple of days. If you want to support the show even more, if you're in the market for their products or services, you could use our sponsors' specialized URLs or codes. That's how they know that we're doing our job, and that means we can continue to do our job for you for free. And now, a word from said sponsors.
How's your money feeling? It's about to feel happier with a certificate from Happy Money's partner, Michigan State University Federal Credit Union. Elevate and increase your savings with 18-month terms and only a $500 minimum. And the happiest part? MSU FCU certificates yield 4.5% APY annual percentage yield. Now that's a happier side of money. Elevate your savings. Go to happymoney.com/MSUFCU. That's MSUFCU. Funds insured up to $250,000 by NCUA. The APY is accurate as of the 12/1/2023 dividend declaration date. Early withdrawal penalties do apply. Fees may reduce earnings on the account. Any monthly withdrawals or transfers reduce earnings.
Whatever kind of night you're having, start it off right with Drizzly, the go-to app for drink delivery. Whether you're mixing up a bullet bourbon old-fashioned for a cozy night in, or Kettle One Bloody Mary bar for a birthday brunch, you can get the perfect beer, wine, and spirits for any occasion delivered with Drizzly. So,
what's it gonna be?
Download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com to choose your drinks today. Must be 21 plus, not available in all locations.
This is the most insane fucking story I have heard in a long time regarding sexual health.
Okay.
And I don't even know if it's sexual health or it's just covering his tracks. Did you hear about Drake and his condom?
I saw a blurb about a hot sauce condom or something. I don't know how that happened.
Let me see here.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes.
You want to hear it?
Yes.
Okay. Instagram model accuses Drake of putting hot sauce inside of a condom. An Instagram model is accusing Drake of getting a little too spicy during a recent... Who's writing this shit? National Enquirer?
Yeah.
This is so stupid. And by the way, how did you get this story? Like, this girl sold you this story, obviously. So she could have said anything.
He's like, I got to go to the press about this.
But, Drake has not denied this.
Okay.
So, and maybe it's good that he hasn't denied this. Maybe he feels like the more scared these women are of this.
What is the story?
The better. Okay. during a recent romantic encounter, which allegedly took place at the rapper's hotel a few weeks ago. The model claims that the self-proclaimed certified lover boy, born Aubrey Drake Graham, I didn't know his name was Aubrey, added a packet of hot sauce into the used condom after sex in order to kill his sperm after they had multiple encounters.
Oh.
After he disposed of his condom, she took it out of the trash and attempted to impregnate herself inside of the bathroom.
That's why he did it.
Yeah, of course. You dum-dum. You couldn't get someone pregnant, so you sold your story to the National Enquirer. This is insane. I'm going to start doing this. I don't know why I would start doing this. But you're not getting a kid out of me, Astrid. I got Tabasco in my balls. The woman revealed the accusations to the Too Much Hot Tea blog. Sounds like a legitimate news organization to me.
Too much hot tea.
Saying after she screamed due to the burning sensation, Champagne Poppy, as he's known on Instagram. Champagne Poppy. Couldn't get Drake? Yeah, Champagne Poppy. Ran into the bathroom and allegedly admitted to pouring the hot sauce in the condom. I did it. I mean, what?
No.
I was trying to impregnate you with your sperm out of the condom. And he's like, I'm so sorry. I put hot sauce in there.
I put hot sauce in there.
Meanwhile, is he carrying around a bottle of hot Texas Pete
I think
or something?
It's a packet. So he
Oh,
just had
you put a packet.
Condoms and hot sauce packets.
Yeah, you can get them at Chick-fil-A.
That's exactly.
I do
Texas
Taco Bell.
Pete.
I do Taco Bell fire sauce. Me personally. It's that little extra oomph you're looking for when you're jizzing. Though it's an unusual way to try and prevent pregnancy, the Canadian crooner has previously complained about having to go above and beyond to ensure women won't collect his sperm. Mm-hmm. Gold medalist, as he's also known. How many names does this guy have? Champagne Poppy, gold medalist, Aubrey Drake Graham, certified lover boy, flushed magnums, just so they wouldn't collect the specimens. He rapped on one song.
Gotta do what you gotta do. You're at that Champagne Poppy level.
Yeah, Champagne Poppy. Jizz Poppy, that's what they should call him. Hot Sauce Jizz. That should be his new nickname on Instagram. I'm going to see if that's available, and we should make a parody account. Hot Sauce Jizz.
Yes.
Only the finest in hot sauce for your jizz packets. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. That's wild.
Yeah. You can have 15 minutes of fame. I'll take the other 23 hours and 45 minutes, he captioned on the post, as Drake took to Instagram and seemingly addressed the rumors as he posted 2 brooding pictures of himself. I can only imagine what those look like. His friends and followers were quick to joke about the situation, one calling him Cholula Poppy in reference to the hot sauce. After the God's Plan, Jesus Jones, dude. After God's Plan, they posted another series of photos on Friday.
God's Plan.
I guess that's what God's Plan.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. I can make up names for myself too. No, that's his. That's another name for himself. God's Plan. I think that's the name of one of his albums, isn't it? It must be. How many nicknames can you have?
A lot, apparently.
What do we call me?
Uncle Bryan.
Yeah, hot sauce. I'm the honey mustard Poppy. That's what they call me. I'm old. We don't need hot sauce. I just need a little barbecue sauce. That's it. Put some what is that Kraft barbecue sauce? That incredibly it's disgusting barbecue sauce that everyone loves so much. What is that? You never had a barbecue sauce by Kraft?
No.
You haven't had Kraft's barbecue sauce?
No, I go Fox Brothers all the way.
You go Fox Brothers? It's Kansas City Kraft maybe is it Kraft? I don't know, but it's like ketchup basically with sugar and some spices in it.
I'm not a big ketchup fan to begin
delicious.
with.
You're not a ketchup fan?
At all.
You don't like ketchup at all?
No, I mean it's okay. I don't put it on anything though.
How do I not know this about you? This is a new thing I'm learning about Krissy here after many years of friendship. How do you not like ketchup? How is that even possible?
It's not that I don't like it. It's like it's too sweet or something. I don't know. I on a hot dog, I'll do it on a hot dog.
What about French fries?
But no, salt.
That's it? Mm-hmm. You don't put anything to juice that down, to slide those things down?
Crispy fries with some salt.
Doesn't that get dry? Doesn't that dry to you? Like the French fries get dry?
No.
You don't have any lube on there? No mayonnaise, no mustard, no barbecue sauce, no honey mustard?
I'm not a dipper.
Ranch? You're not a dipper?
I do like ranch.
You do like ranch? Mm-hmm. So you'd go French fries and ranch?
I would go French fries and ranch. Cool Ranch Doritos with ranch. It was very good.
Cool Ranch Doritos with ranch?
Yes, dipped in ranch.
How much ranch can you have? You want to hear a story about ranch?
Yes.
I don't know how we got here, but I'll tell you this story. So my mom My mom is, we'll talk about it here on the podcast. My mom suffers from mental illness. She has for my entire life. It's just one of those things. So a number of years ago, we decided that my mom may need a little extra help around the house, right? Just to make sure that she was okay and also that she was in an environment where she could be social. She's not like crazy. She's not standing on the side of a road with a sign or anything. She's a perfectly lovely human being. She just, she suffers with some depression and some other stuff.
Yes.
So we decided, hey, Mom, you need to be in a social environment. You're getting a little up there in age, social environment where everyone can, you can, every day you have an interaction and people can help you cook and clean and stuff like that. Stuff that might get harder to do even when you're normally just getting old, right? Like me. I need help cooking and cleaning. So we make this decision and we have to go clean out this apartment that she's been living in for almost 10 years. She's been living in this apartment. So my twin brother and I decide we're going to go clean the apartment one day. We know it's kind of a mess in there. And anytime you've been living somewhere for 10 years, it's, there's going to be shit under the couch. There's going to be stuff around, right?
Yes.
We get in there, and whatever time in the day we get in there, and we take a couple of trash bags, and we're like, hey, first things first, let's throw away the trash. Let's go through and get rid of
Good
stuff.
strategy.
You just don't need, right?
Yeah.
And my mom's not there. So we start rummaging through the house. Kevin starts in the kitchen, and I start in the bedroom. Within 3 minutes of being in my mom's closet, I find a bottle of Hidden Valley Ranch.
Oh.
A bottle of Hidden Valley Ranch in her closet.
It was a hidden bottle?
It was a hidden bottle. And then Kevin's like, hey, man, come here for a second. I'm like, okay. I go, hey, dude, I found a bottle of ranch. He's like, dude, I was just about to say, I've already found 3 bottles of ranch in this one.
She's a ranch girl.
Hoadley. Ranch in the freezer. Ranch on top of the freezer. Ranch down where you keep the cleaning supplies. Ranch in the laundry room.
You got to
ranch
be
under the couch.
Prepared at all times for
the
ranch attack.
Apocalypse. The ranch apocalypse. I mean, what is she doing?
The ranch attack.
We had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
There were 50 fucking bottles of ranch. There must have been 50 bottles of ranch.
It's good stuff.
And only like 4 of them were opened, right? It is good stuff. But do you really need 50 bottles of ranch?
Don't.
No. In your closet? No. What are you doing?
I don't know. What did you
What
ask?
do I wear tonight? Look at this pretty black dress. You know what I should do? Let me take a shot of ranch. Let me pregame it with some ranch.
Pre-game ranch.
I can see my mom just drinking it straight out of the bottle. Oh, that's so good.
Sometimes you need a shot of ranch.
What do you do in the laundry room? You pour it on your clothes?
Did you ask?
Ancient green secret. Little ranch on your stains. Did I ask? Of course I asked. My mom was like, I don't know. I don't know where I got all that ranch. I have no idea where I got all that ranch. You didn't find 50 bottles of ranch. And we were like, Mom, we found 50 bottles of ranch. I don't know. I think one time it was on sale. I'm like, Mom, it was on sale, but that doesn't describe how I got into your closet. What were you doing? Why would you?
In case of emergency.
Break ranch. Like, I just wonder. For forever. For now, the last 5 years, I've wondered, under what circumstances did the ranch get into the closet or into the laundry room? How did that go down?
I don't know. I don't have any condiments in my closet, but
I have condoms in my closet right next to the hot sauce. But the ranch, no. I just imagine my mom one day was like watching Judge Judy and she had just gone to the store and there were multiple bottles of ranch. And she was like,
Costco purchase.
Yeah, just in case I'm eating chicken nuggets one day in the bedroom while I'm changing, I better put a ranch in there.
Quick,
get a ranch under the couch.
Grab the ranch.
Unbelievable. So you're a ranch girl.
I like ranch. Yeah.
Okay, what do you put ranch on?
Well, as I mentioned, the Cool Ranch Doritos.
Cool Ranch
when
Doritos,
I eat those,
which is just insane to me. I cannot believe you put ranch on ranch, but
yeah,
that's a ranch on ranch attack.
That is a ranch.
This is a double ranch.
Don't knock it till you tried it. Have you tried it?
No, I haven't.
Okay,
you know
well, wait till
once
you try it.
Yeah, once you go double R. Just go double R, you never come home.
I like ranch with wings too.
Oh, ranch is with wing, but I think blue cheese is a sin with a wing. I would rather have ranch all day long.
Or ranch,
yeah.
Homemade ranch is the best.
Homemade ranch, the watery kind of ranch, the kind that gets all over the wing. Don't give me none of that thick bullshit, that thick frothy, I'm specialty ranch. I don't want specialty ranch. I want regular, drippy, oozy ranch on my hot sauce, on my wings that are also drippy and oozy.
Yes. Now I like dry rub on the wings.
You like dry rub? I'm not a dry rub kind of guy. I like everything wet. I'm a dipper though. I have everything with sauce.
Really?
Almost everything has a sauce with it. Yeah.
Wow.
A hot sauce or a barbecue sauce.
I have almost nothing with
I just find it insane that someone would not put ketchup on their French fries.
I'm going to have a drink as I'm eating. So your mouth can't get too dry.
Well, I know, but potatoes, like especially French fries, if they are not immediately eaten, within seconds of coming out of the fryer, they start to dry up. That's just the way it is. The oil kind of dissolves or whatever it is. And so the ketchup is there to lube it down. It's the perfect combination. French fries and ketchup.
No,
oh my
not
God.
for me.
Hoadley, I think you have something wrong with you. Does Jeff know this about you before you guys got married?
Jeff is not a ketchup guy either.
Jeff's not a ketchup guy either?
No.
You cannot be trusted. This is insane.
It's not like we specifically hate ketchup. It's just not something I pull out.
But there is a difference between not specifically hating ketchup and not putting it on your French fries.
Each to their own.
No, not each to their own. This is an American thing. If you live in the United States, I venture to say
the French do it with the mayonnaise.
Okay, so at least they're putting something on their French fries.
I've tried the mayonnaise before. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I agree with you. I went through a mayonnaise and French fry phase. Yeah, until I saw it on my waist every morning.
Well, that's right. That's the case.
That shit'll.
I think that's maybe why I'm not a big dipper, is because I love hot sauce.
Yeah,
in general, but
hot sauce great.
But yeah, everything else just adds the calories.
Mayonnaise I agree with. And I know there's a lot of sugar in ketchup.
Yes.
But I just find it nearly impossible to not put something on my French fries, and usually that thing is a ketchup.
Okay.
Right? And I'm worried about you and Jeff. I'm worried about the two of you. Concerned about what's going on at that house over there.
Don't worry, we're okay.
I'm worried that everything's just so dry. I mean, is there any lube in the house for anything? Or is everyone just like, let's just go in dry? Jeff, call me.
I'll have Jeff call you.
I was going to say, if he had known this before the wedding, would he have gone through with it? But then he doesn't do it either. So the two human beings born and raised in the United
dry
States.
Fries.
Dry fries. So is there any reason you would put ketchup on anything? Like, is there
I said a hot dog.
What about a hamburger or a cheeseburger?
No.
No, you wouldn't?
I like mustard.
Just mustard. Mm-hmm. That's it.
I like mustard.
You don't put any mayonnaise on there. No barbecue sauce.
I love mayonnaise.
Yeah.
But no, I like mayonnaise for different things, ketchup for different things. But on the whole, I'm not a French fry dipper, period.
I just want everyone to know that there may be a break in the commercial break as we take Krissy for an assessment and evaluation at a condiment therapist. I want to understand what's going on in her brain. I don't understand. The first time I gave my child ketchup, then it never stopped. Now it's ketchup with everything.
Yeah.
And so yesterday, when we were driving home from somewhere, let me tell you something. There were some apple slices on the table, and he also had some French fries. And so I gave him some ketchup for the French fries, and then I caught him dipping the apple slices into the ketchup. Mm-hmm. It was insane. I was like, "Son, what are you doing?" And he's like, Daddy,
He likes ketchup.
Yeah, I think you can take it too far. You don't need a bottle of ranch in your laundry room. Hi, Brian. It's your ranch, Mom. I'm here at Hidden Valley. My mom's going to die and go to Hidden Valley.
I just read actually a whole story about the Hidden Valley guy that started the ranch.
Yeah?
He had a ranch out in
Is that why he called it ranch?
Hidden Valley.
Yeah?
Yeah.
This guy came up with the idea for ranch?
He did, yeah. And then he sold it to whatever, Kraft or whoever makes it now.
I was just reading about how ranch dressing.
It's like a job, too, that you can have at Hidden Valley Ranch, the company.
A ranch taster?
A ranch taster.
And so you taste the ranch for consistency and stuff like that?
Yes.
God, that might be a good job. But how long could you have it? Yeah, I mean, a couple of years. Well, sir, your T cells are down, your white cells are up, and you got a shit ton of ranch in your dick. You're pissing pure ranch. I don't know. I think even though I'm one of those guys, I'm like one of those OCD eaters that I'll eat one thing for a period of time.
Oh, you do that.
Yeah, I do that.
Yes.
Like I'm on Cheerios Honey Crunch specialty oats
Honey
cereal.
Nut Cheerios?
No, not Honey Nut Cheerios. It's a Cheerios, but then remember the cereal O's? Have you ever had the cereal O's? That cereal was so good to me. It tasted so good.
It is.
This is their version of O's because I don't know. I mean, O's might be made still, but I never see it at the grocery store. But now Cheerios has their version.
Ton of cereals.
And I'm on it. I'm on ranch jalapeno pretzel sticks and Cheerio O's and going to the gym every day so I can fight back. That's a true story.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Well, listen,
You've got your way of doing things, and I've got mine.
Anybody wants to co-host a podcast, let me know. I don't know if I can have a non-ketchup eater on the podcast. I'm just talking about that. So back to so Drake puts
hot sauce in the condom,
but I can
kill the sperm.
Yeah, but I can understand why Drake would do this. So like when you get to that level, this lady,
and she tried it.
She tried to actually
notice
impregnate
that it
herself.
was red? There was something else in there.
She's trying to impregnate herself by throwing sperm back in her vagina. I mean, first of all, I think she misunderstands how gravity works. And second of all, I mean, obviously this is not the brightest bulb in the bunch.
I don't think he's seen her again.
No, probably not. He may not even know who it is. I don't even know. Do they give her name? They don't even give her name. No, they don't even give her name. But this is like the shittiest thing that I can think of doing to somebody. I mean, one of the shittiest things that I can think of doing to somebody
it's
is
pretty shitty.
Trying to re-impregnate yourself with old sperm.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, come on.
Old sperm.
You get a turkey baster or something. What are you trying to do? Like literally slip the condom in your... How does that work? What was she intending on doing?
Yeah.
Getting on the floor, throwing her legs up on the sink?
I guess so. Yeah.
Just coaxing it down.
Come on, baby.
Like a ketchup packet, like, you know.
Stay alive.
The last of
Stay
the toothpaste.
alive.
Yeah. Come on. I got 24 hours. I know it. You're going to win in there. You're going to win. It's so stupid.
It's so stupid.
But then imagine she gets pregnant, then she's got a ticket to ride for the rest of her life. That's a horrible thing to do to somebody. Horrible. Well, then, maybe Drake should check who he's sleeping with. Seriously.
You might need to vet them a little bit better.
Yeah, he's already got some kids too, I think, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Like a kid or two or something like that. Yeah, I honestly feel bad for Drake in this situation, but it's fair caution to all.
That's right.
When you
just carry some
Tabasco. That's
or
it.
ranch.
Those little airplane bottles? Yeah, or ranch. I'm sure ranch would do the same thing, actually. I'm sure sperm could outlive in ranch. I'd be interested to ask Dr. Sin, what condiments can kill sperm? Yeah, or could live with sperm. Like, I imagine mayonnaise is probably one of those that if you, under the right circumstances, sperm could live in. We should do an experiment here.
Ooh, yeah.
This is why Commercial Break is number 17 on the comedy podcast charts. It's discussions like this that you can bring home to your family. Frank, honest discussions about which condiment sperm lives in. I think mayonnaise is one of them. I bet ranch you could probably do. I wonder why vinegar is probably what would kill the sperm in the hot sauce.
Hence the hot sauce.
Hence the hot sauce, because most hot sauces have at least some vinegar in there. So smart thinking. Smart thinking.
He's done this before.
He has done this before. Have you been watching Jeopardy?
Oh, I love Jeopardy.
Do you love Jeopardy?
I do love Jeopardy, but I have to admit I haven't watched it since the
Alex died.
new.
Yeah.
It's too hard for me.
Who's the new one? Is Ken Jennings?
Well, no, it was what is
Malik?
Yeah,
Yeah.
She was Blossom.
Oh, she was Blossom. Mm-hmm. Yes, she was Blossom. I'll refrain from the jokes, but she was Blossom. Oh no, I'm thinking of Punky Brewster. It's a different one.
Yes.
Yeah, she was Blossom.
She was Blossom. Malik or something. Yeah.
Malik.
Yeah, I feel bad that we're mispronouncing it right now.
Just know that we're well-intentioned. Almost always on this podcast. Yeah. Almost 100% of the time. 90%.
It works every time.
It works every time. So you stopped watching because Alex was the reason why you watched?
Yeah.
I think so.
He was a big part of it.
I think so.
And I'd like to test my own knowledge, too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think you're right about the game shows. Because if you think about, let's think about what's the Family Feud.
Yeah,
right?
I love Family Feud. That's definitely, I love that.
So Family Feud became popular.
I went to the Family Feud.
I know, I remember this.
In the audience, front row, Steve Harvey.
But did you go in, are there like multiple tapings in a day? Did you sit for multiple? It was two tapings.
Yeah.
And how long did that take?
It took 4 or 5 hours.
4 or 5 hours for those two tapings.
Yeah, we were next to the woman who was actually in the audience too, kind of next to us, and she would be signaling to Steve if it's a correct answer or not.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
so
it was
you sat next
interesting.
to the judge, essentially,
and she had the answers.
She had the answers.
Yeah,
and then
those would pop up obviously on the ding.
But she would signal that was the correct answer,
and then that way he would kind of know.
Oh, so he would. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
but
it was interesting.
But then couldn't the guests also look at her?
Yeah, but they didn't know about her.
Oh, they didn't know about her. Yeah. Okay, or maybe it was just some crazy lady that was signaling to the Steve.
No, she had on the headphones and she was part of the production. Yeah.
My point was
I love Family Feud.
Family Feud, and I think most game shows are really, because there's one consistent thing in that. There's two consistent things: the game and its rules, and then the host. And so I really think
big part of it.
that these have a lot, that the popularity of these shows have a lot to do with the host.
Absolutely.
Many versions of Family Feud have been made. but there's only been 3 that have been really popular. And Steve Harvey is, I think, probably the most popular. He's awesome. He's really good at that. I don't watch it a lot, but when I watch it, he's a fucking riot, that guy.
He is.
Can't keep his foot out of his mouth. And you know what? There are so many sexual innuendos on that show in 2021 to 2022 that it's like,
they can get away with it there.
Who is the guy who would run around kissing everybody?
Yeah,
remember?
That was the original host.
The original host.
And
he was like,
remember his name, but
kissing teenagers on the mouth.
They're from like the 70s.
It's rather disturbing. He'd pat girls on the ass and they were like 13, or he'd be like, wow, you're well developed. It's like some 9-year-old. You got big tits like your mom. Give Uncle Frankie a kiss here on the mouth. It was pure sexual harassment the entire time. Yeah, and he was drunk. Was it Roger Barris? Not Roger Barris. Okay. Was it Roger Barris?
Was it?
No, that was the Gong Show. Who was it? We'll have to. Yeah, I don't care. No one cares. Who cares? You just know that the first. Go back and watch some of the old from the 70s episodes of the first guy.
Who was the other one that you liked? The Double Dare guy.
The Double Dare guy I thought was good. I thought
pretty good. He's OCD, like serious.
Oh yeah, he's
OCD,
crazy. Yeah, but Double Dare is also. They tried Double Dare without Mark Summers, and it didn't work.
He's a great host.
He is a great host, and now he does all that food bullshit. He's famous, but now he's
Louis Anderson, who just died.
Who just passed away. He's super duper funny guy. He was good, but I don't think he was great.
No,
and I think he was a little too he was big for the job. Like he seemed like he was out of breath a lot, and that to me felt uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah,
so. Steve Harvey is right in there.
Oh, yeah.
Crowd work is his thing. He's doing a great job.
I did notice that Steve Harvey's going to have a new show where he plays a judge. Like it's like Family Court
Judge
style.
Harvey?
Yeah, Judge Harvey.
Harvey.
I'm like, but as much as I love Steve Harvey, why is he playing a judge? Just because he's going to just tell people what to do?
Here, there's a podcast syndrome going on with television right now. And that is, there are so many ways to get television programming into your face, streaming, online, phone, Hulu, whatever. There are thousands of distributors.
Yes.
And they all have the same business model, one of two, subscription or advertising. And it doesn't take a lot to make a program like that work.
Yeah.
If you pay Steve a couple $1 million a year, all you got to do is sell a couple $100,000 worth of advertising each show, which may sound difficult, but if you have the connections, may not be. You have 50,000 viewers an episode, and you can probably make pretty good money on that. I
mean, that being said, I'll actually probably watch that show.
Of course I will. Yeah. You know what I don't watch? I don't watch like Divorce Court or any of that. This is like all so fucking depressing. But
who was the original People's Court guy?
Judge Wapner. And Doug Llewellyn. I'm Doug Llewellyn. Yeah. This is Bob. Bob has a dog. Bob's dog bit Bill's boner. Will Bill's boner get paid? I just it was the original, and it was the best.
It was the original and the best.
When you were sick from school.
Yes.
There were it was 2 episodes at 3 p.m. and you were going to watch both of them.
You had to watch that. And you also had to watch The Price is Right.
The Price is Right. Of course you had to watch.
I loved that show.
I think Drew Carey is just fine but Bob Barker will never be another
best.
Bob Barker.
Yes.
And I think Drew's still doing that show, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah, what a gig. That's a gig. Like if I got one of those gigs, no one's going to ever hire me now that I've been on the commercial break. They're going to be like, that potty mouth asshole is never going to come close to our TV studio. But that to me would be the ultimate gig.
It's really pretty good.
Yeah. A late night talk show host or a game show host. And just do it forever and ever.
Yes.
When Drew Carey first got that show, when he was like 2 years into the show, I was in Los Angeles and I went and ate at Mel's Diner, right? One of the famous diners out there. Mel's Diner on Ventura or whatever it is. Just, because first of all, it's a good place to eat. And second of all, you catch a celebrity sighting.
You've been there.
I sat next to Drew Carey, and the waitress told me when he went to the bathroom, the waitress explained that he came there every morning before the taping and got the same thing, the same thing to eat every morning. So I, hey, congratulations on the job. I've watched a couple episodes. I think you're doing.
You talked to him.
I talked to him. He could not have been nicer.
He seemed like
I
a nice
think had
guy.
he had more time, we probably would have sat and had a cup of coffee. He seemed like a very nice guy.
Yeah, he seems like a great guy.
And you got to remember, Drew Carey was a huge TV star at one point.
Whose Line Is It Anyways?
Whose Line and the Drew Carey Show.
And the Drew Carey Show,
which actually wasn't that bad. One of my favorite show, but it was, because it was all the same guys from Whose Line Is It Anyway doing the same thing just on a set with Drew Carey. But here's my point. Back to the point. The hosts have a lot to do with the popularity of the show. The reason why Jeopardy loves the fact why they changed this, back in the day, you can only win 5 episodes and then you had to go.
Yeah, that's true.
And now you can win infinitum. It doesn't matter.
Amy. The latest. Yeah.
Amy, Ken Jennings, and a couple others. I mean, there's been a couple who have done 40 episodes in a row. But Amy, who is transgender, had won 1 million something odd episode, $1,633,000 on the show, which is an incredible amount of money to make for going on a game show.
Go, Amy.
Yeah. And the question, you want to know the question she lost on? Here's a question. I'll see if you can get it.
Oh.
What is the only country recognized by the United Nations whose name ends in H?
Ooh.
I don't think I would have gotten this one, but I read it. I don't think I would have got it, but maybe.
I can't even think right now.
I'll give you a hint. You want a clue? Okay. It's in East Asia.
Oh.
West Asia, I'm sorry. Asia. It's in Asia.
Why don't
Actually,
you just
I don't
tell
know
me?
where it is. Bangladesh. So that's the one she got wrong, and that caused her to go. But the reason why these become news stories and why the popularity of the show goes up is because now there is some more consistency in the show. Like now there is a running theme. When it's 3 new Yahoos every single time, right? Lots of people like to answer the questions or see if they have enough smarts to answer the questions. I don't. I'm not Jeopardy smart. I'm in the $100 category.
Right.
If you give me the 100s, if it was just like, if it was Jeopardy for assholes, if we had like a $25 category, name, it's like that old Saturday Night Live bit, name a word that starts with I. You're like, the. What is the?
Yes. No, I mean, I do like to test my knowledge. And you're right. I mean, I'm not going up into the upper echelon.
No, I'm not going into, I'm not even going into the bottom echelon. We used to watch it every day getting ready.
But it's kind of informative too.
Yeah, you feel like you're a little bit smarter when you watch Jeopardy.
Yeah.
There aren't many game shows that tell you that. Like, I don't need to know, what's one, what's one thing that looks like a stick that you use in the bedroom? What rhymes with, 50 people answered dick. I don't need to know that. Doesn't make me feel any smarter, right? Nor does Price is Right. I can spin a wheel. You can guess how many dollars a vacuum costs. But Jeopardy is one of the, it's a smart person's game show.
Yeah.
Right. And so just like 6-word Wordle is a game show, is a game that makes you feel a little bit smarter.
Yes.
When you're done with it. And so while I agree that they're making the right choices for the host, right? I think she's doing just fine. I watched a couple episodes.
Well, there was the other guy. He was
they kept
the producer.
switching back and forth.
He was the producer that somehow
but he was
angled
molesting girls or something.
to be-
I don't
yeah,
know. No, I'm saying that wrong. That's not true. He was on a podcast and he was saying like racy things on this podcast. Now, some racy and possibly sexist, and if I'm not mistaken, maybe a racist thing that he said on a podcast that he had that really wasn't good. It wasn't all that funny.
No.
I don't know why he did it in the first place. He's a fucking producer on Jeopardy. You don't need to do a goddamn podcast. Not everybody needs a podcast. I just tell you that. I mean, if you want a podcast, go get a podcast, but not everybody needs a podcast.
True.
When you're a producer, an executive producer on Jeopardy, you must be making at least $1 million a year.
Yeah, something.
You don't need a fucking podcast where you're telling blue jokes all day long. Yeah. You got to keep that Jeopardy tradition. They're not hiring me to replace Alec Trebek, that's for sure. And so, so he was saying some things that I went back and listened to it. Listen, it was just off color comedy.
Okay.
Stuff that I don't particularly think is funny.
Yeah.
But he said that, and that became a big controversy. But the other controversy was, why is this guy getting the job? Who the fuck is this douchebag? Yeah, why he's an exexecutive producer, so now he gets to host after Alec dies?
Yeah.
Like he wasn't hand chosen
And they
by
did
Alec.
it was like 3 people, I think. It was that guy, the producer, then Malik. I'm going to call him
Malik. Yeah, I can't even. Malik something. Okay. But also Blossom. Yeah, okay. It was her and Blossom and Ken Jennings. I think was the other one. Wasn't he?
Okay, was it?
Yeah, I think Ken Jennings was the other one.
Decided that it would be the producer guy, and everybody had an uproar.
And they didn't go through any process.
Yeah.
They just decided that it was going to be this guy. When you have, it's like when Wheel of Fortune, when Pat dies or Vanna goes away or they retire, you got to be extra fucking careful about who you decide to fill those shoes.
You have to, yeah.
And you better go through. Yeah, this better be a process.
Thing.
That's right. Who's going to replace Vanna? Who's going to replace Pat? The mean bastard that he is.
They can be replaced.
They can't. No one's quite an asshole like Pat is. No one comes across as more condescending than Pat Sajak. You got to find a real condescending asshole. Pat Sajak. I think you might as well get Steve Bannon to replace Pat Sajak. I mean, it's like Pat Sajak is an asshole. Do you not get that sense?
Yeah.
I've never liked that guy.
Yeah.
I've never liked that.
I love Vanna. I absolutely love her. I think she's fantastic.
She is a national treasure.
Mm-hmm.
She is she's an icon. You know, Wheel of Fortune and Vanna go hand in hand.
They really do.
I think in some sense
You can replace Pat.
You can replace Pat. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Pat's just an asshole. You can replace Pat.
Yes, Vanna is going to be hard.
Replace him with the executive producer of Jeopardy.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the best place to put it.
You should go over there.
There's a little more wiggle room in Wheel of Fortune because, I mean, you're kind of smart if you get Wheel of Fortune, right?
Yeah.
But Wheel of Fortune is really more of a game of chance than it is a game of skill.
Mm-hmm.
But Vanna,
Yeah.
who are you going to replace her with?
I mean, it's going to be hard.
Better not be one of those fucking bachelorette ladies.
No.
Swear to God, that's what everybody
No.
wants to. Everybody wants those bachelorette ladies to do something.
No.
Who would replace Vanna?
Like, I'm thinking like Vanessa Williams or something like that.
Might have to be Vanessa Williams, like the old. You were talking about Miss USA,
Yes.
Vanessa
Yeah,
Williams.
yeah.
Don't you think they might have to get somebody younger? So they, like, if she becomes popular, like Vanna did,
younger.
you kind of go. Vanna's been there for what, 38
A
years or
long
something?
time.
A long time. Still looks great.
Still looks great.
Still knows how to spin those things, even though
Yeah.
they're bing, bing. Do you think she actually touches them, or do you think that?
She does touch them.
Okay. Do you think that is what causes it to actually happen?
No.
It's somebody's actually.
It's a
letting them.
well-coordinated situation. She touches it as it's being turned.
When I can't remember.
Maybe it does. Maybe she does.
Maybe she does. Maybe it's a touchscreen.
It's a touchscreen.
I can't remember. Do they light up before? Yes, they light up before she
They
touches
light up.
them. Yeah.
Well, no, she touches it at the same time. It's
Oh.
very well coordinated.
Huh. She must have something
she
off
used
camera.
to have to turn them.
Well, that's when I thought she
Before
was really
digital.
doing her best work.
Yeah.
When she was a turner. Now that she's a toucher. Are you a toucher or a turner? When you're a toucher, it takes less work. But now she's earned her touching.
Oh, she's got her stripe.
How? Now Vanna doesn't. That's what she does on the show, right?
Yes.
And I'm not knocking Vanna, but how fucking incredibly boring on some days must that be?
Yeah.
To just stand there and touch.
Not boring to make a
tiles.
ton of money though.
No, she gets paid like $5 million a year to turn those to touch those fucking pads. I think she
And
might
wear
get.
cool dresses.
I hope she gets paid as much as Pat Sajak does. I really do.
better.
Yeah, she better. That's a controversy I'd be willing to have a discussion
Yes,
about
we
right here
should
on the
research
commercial
it.
break.
We should research
Do you think Vanna would come on the commercial break?
I would love to have Vanna.
You know, I think we can get the executive producer of Jeopardy.
I think we can do.
I don't know what else I can do.
I think that's it.
I love Vanna.
Love Vanna.
Vanna White fan. You know, I grew up in Chicago, and I feel like Vanna had some ties to Chicago for some reason.
I think she's a California girl,
Oh,
or she maybe was born in Chicago, moved out to I just saw something about this.
As a kid, I always felt a kinship
She went
with
out
Vanna.
there. She went out to California to go into acting or modeling.
Okay.
And
They picked her, they plucked her out.
She landed on Wheel of Fortune and
Yeah.
never left.
Yeah. There's a Price is Right girl that's been there for like 30 years, too.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
Ding.
Ding. TCB.
Can we do that here in the studio?
Yeah. Starts with a T.
Yes.
Maybe we'll do that. Maybe I'll see
Yeah,
if I
we
can get a
should.
version of Wheel of Fortune.
We should.
And we'll play it up there. TCBpodcast.com is where you go. You can listen to all the audio, watch all the video. If you want your TCB collectible sticker, you go there, you do some stuff, you send us a photo of it, you give us your address, we send it off. We never sell or send your information to anybody because no one's willing to pay us enough money. We appreciate you visiting our sponsors. Please use their specialized URLs and codes. We would appreciate it. Check out Mike Pesca's The Gist. He's a friend of the show. Check that show out. If you have if you like common sense and pragmaticy, which is a word I just made up, check out Mike Pesca's The Gist. Just back from hiatus.
JEST?
GIST. GIST. The Gist.
Okay.
Straight to the point, or a podcast hosted by Mike Pesca. There you go. Do that. We're a good friend of the show, and yeah, I'm just sharing because I like it.
Awesome.
At The Commercial Break on Instagram. No one ever goes there, but you should. We're number 17, but we
I'm
can't
posting more
Oh yeah,
on
Krissy.
Instagram.
Go follow Krissy.
Yeah,
She's posting more on Instagram.
Yeah,
What's
I'm gonna
handle?
At
TCB Krissy?
TCB Krissy, yeah.
At TCB Krissy.
I'm going to post what we're listening to here in the studio, which is some New Orleans funk.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
All right, so go there. And what you must do for us, please, go check out the new studio, youtube.com/thecommercialbreak, youtube.com/thecommercialbreak. Subscribe, like the videos. We certainly would appreciate it. I think you'll enjoy. We put out clips almost every day of the week. You can only get the full episode here on the audio version, but we have clips every day of the week of the show. We put the best stuff out there. And we do In the Studio, which is a segment that you can only get on YouTube. So please go there and subscribe. We certainly would appreciate it. Okay. Now, this is what I got to say. I love you.
I love you.
What else can we do today?
I think that's it.
Best to you.
Best to you.
Best to you out there in the podcast universe. Until next time, we always say, we must say, and we do say, bye.
How's your money feeling? It's about to feel happier with a certificate from Happy Money's partner, Michigan State University Federal Credit Union. Elevate and increase your savings with 18-month terms and only a $500 minimum. And the happiest part? MSU FCU certificates yield 4.5% APY annual percentage yield. Now that's a happier side of money. Elevate your savings. Go to happymoney.com/MSUFCU. That's MSUFCU. Funds insured up to $250,000 by NCUA. The APY is accurate as of the 12/1/2023 dividend declaration date. Early withdrawal penalties do apply. Fees may reduce earnings on the account. Any monthly withdrawals or transfers reduce earnings.
The mistletoe margarita, the Scrooge driver, the North Pole punch. The holidays call for cocktails, so get everything you'll need for them delivered with Drizzly, the go-to app for drink delivery. So
What's it gonna be?
Classics like Bullet Bourbon, Don Julio Reposado, or Kettle One, or maybe something new. Find it all on Drizzly, where you can get beer, wine, and spirits delivered for any holiday festivity. Download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com today. Must be 21 plus, not available in all locations.
The Commercial Break. New episodes on Tuesdays and now Fridays. New YouTube clips drop daily at youtube.com/The Commercial Break. Visit tcbpodcast.com for access to our entire media library. Follow us at The Commercial Break on Instagram. Each episode is written and produced by Brian Green, co-hosted by Krissy Hoadley, with additional content provided by Tina Cano.
How's your money feeling? It's about to feel happier with a certificate from Happy Money's partner, Michigan State University Federal Credit Union. Elevate and increase your savings with 18-month terms and only a $500 minimum. And the happiest part? MSU FCU certificates yield 4.5% APY annual percentage yield. Now that's a happier side of money. Elevate your savings. Go to happymoney.com/MSUFCU. That's MSUFCU. Funds insured up to $250,000 by NCUA. The APY is accurate as of the 12/1/2023 dividend declaration date. Early withdrawal penalties do apply. Fees may reduce earnings on the account. Any monthly withdrawals or transfers reduce earnings.
Breast milk science. It's a thing. And it's our thing. We're ByHeart. We're an infant formula company on a mission to get a lot closer to the most superfood on the planet, breast milk. Our patented protein blend has more of the important and most abundant proteins found in breast milk. We're the first and only U.S.-made formula to use organic, grass-fed whole milk, not skim. We make our formula in our own factories in Iowa, Oregon, and Pennsylvania, using a small batch manufacturing process that works to preserve the integrity of our ingredients. We ran the largest clinical trial by a new infant formula company in 25 years, and clinically proved benefits like easier digestion, less gas, and softer poops versus a leading infant formula. We were the first infant formula company to earn the Clean Label Project Purity Award. And while we've put a lot into ByHeart, there's a long list of things you won't see on our ingredient list, like no corn syrup, no maltodextrin, no GMO ingredients, no soy, no palm oil. ByHeart, a better formula for formula. Learn more at byheart.com.